Hi, my name is Caroline Faulkner and I'm going to be creating a video on how to use manipulatives in a standard for kindergarten. Manipulatives are good and important to use in the classroom because it allows your students to have a hands-on activity while learning the lesson. Especially with those visual and kinesthetic learners, they're really going to grasp and understand the concept behind the lesson when they have things to hold on to and participate in. The standard I'm going to be teaching about is K.OA.A.2, and it's solving addition and subtraction word problems and add and subtract within 10. An example is by using objects or drawings to represent the problem. The first set of manipulatives that we're going to be using are these big jumbo playing cards, and we created a game called Deca Buddy. So what you do is you have students that will get a jumbo card and you'll pass them out. So a student will get the 3, they'll get a 7, a 2, and an 8. And so once the students get their big cards, they'll flip them over and hold them really tight on their chest. And then we'll say, so then they'll walk around and go mingle, 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 mingle. And then we as the teachers will say stop. And so when we do that, they're going to flip their card over and figure out what number partner they need to create the number 10. So for example, the person who has the number 2 will find the person with the number 8, and they'll stand together and sit down as soon as they get paired up. Same example for the 7. They will look for the number 3. Okay, I found my buddy with the number 3, so I'm going to sit with them. And then after everybody has found their partners, we'll have a class discussion and we'll say, okay, what 2 numbers did you have? 7 and 3. Okay, so what is 7 plus 3? And the students will say 10. And that way they're getting the visual of the numbers themselves. It's good because there's pictures on it so they can count to see how many more pictures they need to create the number 10. And they're having a physical object that they can hold while doing the activity. So for the next set of manipulatives, we have used these eggs, and we've only called them eggs and not Easter eggs because we recognize that not every student is going to celebrate Easter, so we want them all to be included. So how we would use these as manipulatives is we would first present a word problem to the class. For example, we would say, Sally is on an egg hunt. There are 10 eggs hidden. Sally finds 6 eggs. How many eggs are still left to find? So what we would do is we would take 10 eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what we would do is we would have a student come up and we would call on them and they would each grab an egg and hold it in their hand just like this. So we would start with 10 students, okay? So 10 students would have these eggs, and then we would say, Sally finds 6 eggs. So we would tap on the students, and they would take their egg with them and go to their seat. So we would say, as a class, we would count out loud and say, okay, we're going to take 6 eggs away. So help me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we know that Sally started out with 10 eggs, and now there's only how many left? 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the students are seeing that 10 minus 6 is 4. So then we would have them write a equation on the board, and we would let them use a visual, so they would draw ovals to represent the eggs, or they could have the option to create an equation. So this is a manipulative to use for that problem. So going back to the Easter eggs, another problem that we used in the classroom so we could have addition and subtraction was Brad has 8 eggs in his basket. He found 2 more eggs. How many eggs does he have now? So it would be kind of similar to how we did the previous problem, but this time we're adding instead of subtracting. So we would say, okay, I need 8 volunteers. So we would count and we would give them an egg. So we'd say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we would have our 8 students in the class holding the egg in their hand like we showed you before. And we would say, okay, so Brad's on his Easter egg hunt and he already found 8 eggs, just like we see. He then finds 2 more eggs. So can I have 2 more volunteers? And we would get 2 more students and give them an egg, and they would stand in the front in the class. So we'd say, okay, 1, 2. After that, we would say, okay, so Brad started with 8 eggs and he found 2 more. So how many eggs does Brad have now? So class, let's all count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we liked using these as a manipulative in our lesson because we were able to call in the students and we got to use every student in the classroom, so no one was singled out. And they got to come and hold the egg in their hand. They got to visualize how the eggs are being used in the problem, and they acted the entire word problem out with taking away and adding. So these were really good manipulatives to use for this lesson. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope you learned a lot from this video.